Good afternoon, School District of Indian River County. This is your superintendent here with another Facebook Live. Today, a little bit different. We're going to have some important conversations around understanding social media and the impacts of social media, and we have some very special guests that we'll introduce in a few seconds to help facilitate and guide us in that conversation. But a few quick updates. This morning, we're coming on about 4 minutes late today. That is because I spent the morning in our schools acknowledging our assistant principals. So whether it was myself, board members, or cabinet members, we had the opportunity to connect with each and every single one of our assistant principals to acknowledge the work that they do in this school system. And as a former principal, a lot of times all of the accomplishments and praise goes to the principals, but trust me, behind the scenes, working hard, leading and supporting our students and teachers are our assistant principals, and a great shout out and thank you to them for all of the work that they do over the course of the school year. Some quick announcements. Step into pre-K. That enrollment is open. So if you have a youngster who's preparing to enter kindergarten, this is a program that you would want to access, help accelerate their skills and the ability and be familiar with what's going to happen as they step into kindergarten. While at the same time, enrolling for kindergarten, that window is open well. So if you have those children coming into kindergarten opportunities through our Step into Pre-K program, as well as registering for kindergarten, that information can be found on our website. Want everyone to mark your calendars. April 17th is STEAM Fest Day here in the School District of Indian River County, ultimately above and beyond the county. This is an opportunity at the IG Center really to connect and see the great things that are happening in the schools throughout our county as it relates to STEAM, some of the innovative scientific things that are taking place in our school. Reference back our website for that information as well. Also, we are in the planning phases for all of the end-of-year activities. So this is the opportunity really to continue to engage in conversations as we return to a sense of normal. And the School District of Indian River County is open. We will be having graduations at all of the high schools. We will be having proms at each of the high schools. Those end-of-year 5th grade and 8th grade celebrations and graduations, they all are going to take place. So please continue to check back with your school. Your son, your daughter, and you as a parent have worked so hard, not only in the course of this year, but over the course of your child's academic history. And this is the time to acknowledge all of that hard work by celebrating the relationships that have been formed over the course of this year. And there's a lot to celebrate over the course of this year. We as a system have really navigated, as has the nation, through some very difficult times. We are about 35 days away from ending one of the most unique and challenging school years that we have ever experienced. And we can continue to forge forward regarding how do we continue to return to normal. One of the conversations we'll be having with our school board coming up on Tuesday is to begin the consideration of how we move to an optional mask for summer school and or the opening of next school year. No proposals will take place for the remainder of this school year. As I said, it's 35 days until the end of the school year. We feel comfortable with where we are. Great partnership with the health department in providing vaccinations to all district employees who want to have access to those. We have our last school district event for vaccinations taking place for our staff actually tomorrow. So that's an opportunity for them to begin that process. So we're going to begin the conversation seeking input from our local professionals, our pediatricians, really to determine what does summer school look like, and then over the course of the next month and a half, really begin the conversation as to how we're going to modify or adjust our Safer at School procedures for the opening of schools. And we're looking forward to engaging in very professional dialogue, having the opportunity to listen, understand, and make the decision that is right for our county. We understand the commitments and the burdens that we've placed on ourselves. We in the school system, this leadership, this school board, wants to return to normal as quickly and as safely as possible. So those are your updates. Very, very excited in terms of where we are. And as I said earlier, we have Ms. Carrie Lester here from our School Health Advisory Committee, who's going to help facilitate a conversation or create the opportunity to have conversations. So we're going to use the rest of this time really to engage in conversations around social media. And here with us to help facilitate this conversation is our district's Public Information Officer, Ms. Kristen Maddox.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Hello, I'm Kristen Maddox, and Dr. Moore brought up quite a few important updates. Just want to make everyone aware that you can find the majority of those updates in our website gallery at indianriverschools.org. You shouldn't have to search all over the website. As you scroll through the gallery, those updates will be in there. You can click and it'll bring you directly to the page and the information that you need to know. Also, I'm just going to use this minute to remind everyone to download our SDIRC Focus app. You can stay connected with your student schools with all of the latest press releases coming out, with your students' grades, lunch menus. It's the app of all things. So it's free for Apple and Android if you go to the app stores and download SDIRC Focus app. So this is Social Media Awareness Month, and it seems like every day there's a new social media platform that is being created that adults are using, that children are using, and it's constantly changing. And unfortunately, with those changes, there's new dangers to social media that parents, grandparents, students, we all need to be aware of. So today we have Carrie Lester and Deb Engel with us starting off. And Carrie, if you would like to start off just introducing the topic.
Sure. Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Moore and Kristen, for the time and the opportunity today. I am Carrie Lester. I'm the Executive Director of the Substance Awareness Center of Indian River County, but I'm also the co-chair of our School Health Advisory Committee, and SHAC for short. And SHAC's role is really to provide advocacy when it comes to school health. It is to identify needs related to school health, but also opportunities where we can leverage community resources. And that's really kind of part of the how and why that this Coffee and Conversation platform is being launched the way that it is in our community and the opportunities that we have, and Deb will be speaking on that in just a minute. Our School Health Advisory Committee, the committee is comprised of members, individuals from within the community that represent key components related to school health. And so right now we do have a vacancy where it comes to physical fitness or physical education, and we are always encouraging that parent voice at the table. However, our meetings are open, so we welcome and invite anyone who cares about school health to come, sit at the table, be part of the solution, help us advocate, and make things better. We are meeting via Zoom during the school year. We do meet the first Wednesday of every month, 3:30 p.m. If anyone wants more information, you can reach out to me, C. Lester, Lester, at sacirc.org. And with that, I'll pass it along to Deb.
Thank you, Carrie. And I would also like to say thank you, Dr. Moore and Kristen Maddox, for allowing us in this time to be discussing these important conversations. I am Deborah Engel. I'm the CEO at Suncoast Mental Health Center. We do provide mental health services here in Indian River County and in several of the schools here. But why I'm here is I am the co-chair of SHAC with Carrie. And when we were having our conversations, we really wanted parent input. And we know the importance of it, to hear. It's not just us as professionals coming together, it's everyone coming together. So we created a subcommittee that I agreed to chair, which is for Coffee and Conversation, which is how we led to us today. And we started that in December, and I'm so happy that in this short period of time, through COVID and everything, that we are here today. And that I have Michelle here, who's part of our committee. And she's going to just talk about how we got to where we are and how we got to the topic of social media.
Hello, my name is Michelle Boldo, and I work for the Substance Awareness Center, and I'm the director of the Safer Coalition. We're a coalition in Indian River County to reduce substance use among youth. So like Deb said, we really wanted to get the voice of the parents. So we did send out a survey, and we got about 100 responses from, all of the parents in Indian River County, and we asked them, what are your top 3 choices to hear about? So we listed about 10 topics. We also asked them what's the best time of day and what day they would get on a Zoom meeting. So the top 3 was social media awareness. We also had mental health awareness and having that tough conversation with your child, whether it's around drugs and alcohol, bullying. So our first April topic would be social awareness, and that's the dangers of social media and all the latest apps. So our first one is April 22nd at 6:30 via Zoom. Our flyer for this event will be, I'm sure, on the school district. It'll also be on the SAFIR website, and our website is SAFIR, SAFIRC.org. You can go on there and you can find the flyer. And our first speaker that we're so happy to have is Stacy Watson Metzley, and she is the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and she's going to give you an overview of what she will be speaking on in April.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Dr. Moore and Kristen, and the entire SHAC committee for really recognizing that this is a health issue. As CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of St. Lucie, Indian River, and Okeechobee counties, we know that our community wants our children to be safe, and we have to work together to make that happen. So when we began the pandemic a year ago, our agency, which had historically not engaged in online interactions between our big brothers and our little brothers, our big sisters and little sisters, adopted an online platform. So through our national agency, every single member of the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization goes through the youth protection system, and we learn a lot. We just finished this week a summit. It's the Youth Protection Summit. And yet I felt like we needed a little more specifically around the online situation. So our team joined the National Criminal Justice Training Center and the law enforcement officers that serve on the committee, the Internet Crimes Against Children Committee, and we learned really the dangers behind the internet and our children. So just as one statistic, in February of 2020, there were 268,000 reports of inappropriate content with children. Only a few months later, after the pandemic began, there was 1,100,000 reports. The internet before this pandemic was a space that presented a lot of risks. And we saw those risks in social media, gaming, different platforms that were already risky, photo platforms. But now that internet access is almost a requirement for our children, we as parents, guardians, grandparents, teachers, community members have to be on top of what's happening. And we also have to remember, for every solution we come up with, there is some person out there creating a counter solution. So there's never time to take a big sigh of relief, like we understand everything. So on April 22nd, I'm going to be joined by my director of mentoring, Diana Embick, who's also a mom of children between 5 and 20, and so she's taking on this social media issue right now. And we are going to share with you some of what we've learned, both from the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the CDC. We'll be talking about a new report that's coming out in 2022 by the CDC around youth protection. We're going to be discussing a UNICEF report that investigates the risks and applications for children in the social media world. And then we'll be talking about the social and scientific whys. Why are children physiologically and psychologically subject to such intense vulnerability when it comes to the internet? We'll talk about things like the validity loops by the likes that they get from the things that they post. We're going to introduce a few spaces that are extra risky that unless we're really learning about this, we might not know about. Things like ghost apps, geolocating. So every picture has a geolocator embedded in it. We're going to be talking about the chat boxes that go along with the gaming industry. spaces where our vulnerable children become even more vulnerable. But we don't want to just talk about the problem, we want to share in some solutions. So we're going to discuss and understand, we are not social media experts. I am in the social work world, I am a former teacher, but as somebody who cares about children, it's my responsibility to learn as much as I can and to have a conversation with parents that's really just upfront and honest. So through this, we're going to try to gain an understanding for the new tools that exist that empower parents to help access and control what their children see on the internet, what's happening on the internet. And what we believe is that together we can find the ongoing, evolving solutions to help our children safely navigate the internet.
Thank you. And, you know, something that you said reminded me of my own personal situation, and I have 4 boys at home, and, you know, your kid could be a good kid, straight A student, you know, mannerly, loves mom and dad, and they can still get caught in situations that are dangerous to them. And for a very long time, I was very naive about what I thought that my kids were accessing or what they could see on the internet, what they were chatting about. And not that they were necessarily doing anything wrong, but they're so vulnerable to just anyone saying, hey, you know, what's your name, or what school do you go to? And my son said to me, oh, don't worry, Mom, it's a kid that goes to school here. And I said, well, how do you know that? Well, he told me. Well, but how do you know that? And you kind of have to peel those layers, you know, and help them understand what the dangers really are.
Absolutely, and when we were with those law enforcement officers, we learned that 1 in every 5 children has been solicited online, and they don't tell their parents. So these conversations have to happen, and parents have to feel empowered to have some ownership over the spaces where their children enter online. And so it is a constant and ongoing situation, something that we have to monitor, something that will be ever changing, and none of us will ever be the masters of it. Right. But we have to together be a resource that can be an ongoing resource to help parents and grandparents and guardians really dig into what's happening to their children online.
Absolutely wonderful that you're providing this service to parents. And as someone who has 2, I was going to say adult, but I feel like I still pay for them. Someone who has 2 adult children, it is ever changing. And the apps that my wife and I came to a consensus on how we're going to monitor our 2 children probably are significantly outdated now. So such a important partnership, and thank you for engaging with our parents to keep them informed and connected to their children. Can you mention again when exactly this is going to take place and how parents can connect?
It's going to be on April 22nd. It will be a Zoom meeting, so it will be an interactive meeting, not, you know, we're not just going to be talking at parents, we're going to be talking with parents. And it'll be at 6:30, right? 6:30. And it's being hosted through SHAC, so we'll have information on the SHAC page as well as the school district page. Big Brothers Big Sisters we have a very active Facebook page, and we'll make sure to share it on our Facebook page so that parents have access to this link. We really want to see as many parents engage in this conversation because we also have a lot to learn. So maybe parents are finding something that we haven't learned about yet. It's a conversation, and I'm thrilled that the school district is supporting it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
So that is a snippet of information to come. And here in the School District of Indian River County, as I began as superintendent, we coined the phrase, actually it was Ms. Maddox who coined the phrase, stronger together. And this is just one indication of us working with our community, working with our partners, really to be in service of our community. And it's just not a school district or a school or one individual teacher to transform and provide opportunities for students to maximize their full potential, which is the vision of this school system. It takes partnership. So just so thankful for the opportunity to connect and engage and create the partnership to be in service of our community and our parents. So that is our Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us, and please make sure you tune in for our next Facebook Live. Thank you.